Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duck Bricks. I'm Chris, and today I have an incredibly exciting LEGO collection update. I have finally managed to get my hands on some special exclusive LEGO Comic-Con figures. Now in the past, I have gotten a few Comic-Con exclusives before, such as these Bionicle masks. You can see the clamshells here, and the corresponding masks right in the corner here, the transparent clear Mask of Fire and the trans neon green Skull Scorpio mask. But I was able to get those when they were honestly relatively cheap on the aftermarket. I do have all the original packaging for the stuff, like the New York Toy Fair stuff. And typically when you see something come in a clear package like this, you know it's something really special. LEGO's done it before for Black Friday giveaways here in the US, like this Black Friday or Brick Friday 2019 gift. And most notably, they did it for the 2015 LEGO Inside Tour, one of, if not the rarest Bionicle mask that was available to consumers ever, in the transparent blue Mask of Water, retailing close to $4,000 today. But I haven't managed to get any of these specialized collectible minifigures or these special superheroes minifigures from Comic-Con until today. And so I just recently was able to place an order for my very first Comic-Con exclusives. It started off by wanting to actually collect all of the rarest LEGO duck pieces, such as getting the specialized LEGO Employee Day or A Full Day set for the specific LEGO wooden duck piece, which you can see 3D printed right there, which was a special LEGO piece. That's one of the only 3D printed official LEGO pieces. But I figured, why stop there, and why not get some more of the rarest LEGO duck pieces? And so that convinced me to get the Deadpool duck minifigure, one of the more exclusive and rare Comic-Con figures. But I couldn't stop there, because once I started collecting just one of the Comic-Con things, I knew I had to go on a quest to get them all. And so while I definitely do not have them all now, I was able to knock off, I believe, 5 of them in just one massive Bricklink order. And I am so excited to share this with all of you, because this is my first experience with any sort of Comic-Con minifigures. I have long since held out on getting them, despite the figures being very, very cool. I always knew that if I started to get one, I would definitely want to get them all, which is why I held off for so many years. But I figure, you know what? Why not? Let's get them right now. And so today, I am quite excited to showcase the first 5 Comic-Con minifigures in my collection, with hopefully many, many more to come. Let's take a look right now.
Yeah, so this is something really, really special to me. I personally never thought I would own any Comic-Con figures for a long time. I really did not expect to get them this early in my collecting journey. I mean, realistically, I've been collecting LEGO for years and years, but I really have been holding off on getting any Comic-Con figures because, for whatever reason, my mentality is if I own part of a collection, I have to get them all, which means that now I kind of have to get all the Comic-Con figures and Toy Fair exclusive figures because I've gotten these 5. And I realized that after I'd spent around $4,000 on the exclusive Jurassic World T-Rex, which I thought was kind of fair for how limited that was, there's only 500, I then realized that my threshold for buying LEGO-based weird exclusive items for stupid amounts of money is a little bit higher than I initially thought, especially because some of these figures were not even over $250 each, which to me felt like a much better deal than spending $4,000 on a dinosaur. So with that threshold of spending a little bit raised, which I will have to admit is fully from YouTube video ad revenue, thank you all so much for watching my videos and commenting and liking. I've really been only able to do this and support LEGO collection funding because of YouTube. I don't really spend money on my actual work job on LEGO for the most part. I try to constrain all my LEGO spending to just YouTube ad revenue to be a little bit more responsible with how I spend stuff. So all of this has been just directly from YouTube ad revenue. So thank you all so much for supporting the channel. And it's because of all of you watching the videos that I've been able to actually get these and showcase them for you, the viewers. So the initial thing that you might notice is that there is a bit of a DC skew here. 4 out of the 5 figures are DC oriented, and this wasn't really intentional. I really basically only intended to get 2 figures, Deadpool, Duck, and Atom, because 1, Duck for Duck Bricks, and 2, the Atom was always a really good minifigure, I thought. We'll take a closer look at it when we actually open him up, but I always thought the Atom was just a good minifig in general. I have fond memories of watching the CW shows and the Arrowverse shows back when I was a kid in high school and whatnot. Kind of fallen off of them recently because of the quality and whatnot, but I have good memories of watching the CW shows, so I definitely did want to pick up the CW figures, and 3 of these are. Then I just realized that the sellers actually had these other 3 in their stores as well, and they weren't as expensive as I thought they would be, so I figured, you know what the heck, why not? Let's just get them and see where this collection journey takes us. So first off here is Arsenal, aka the Red Arrow, or you can see this was kind of Oliver Queen's sidekick here. Arsenal cost me 600 Canadian dollars, which translates at the time of this recording to $434.71 for US dollars. So $434 for Arsenal here. The next one was Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, and this was actually one of the rarest ones. This cost me 1,199 Canadian dollars, which translates to 870 US dollars. I was pretty shocked to find this be the most expensive one on the list, but I guess that kind of makes sense because everybody loves Batman. They want unique Batman variants, and this absolutely is a pretty unique one. It is based on a very specific storyline from the comics, so I guess that is understandable. And this was the 2014 exclusive, or one of the 2014 exclusives for DC, so I guess because it's older, it's more expensive. Arsenal was 2015, but he's also a less popular character. Next up, of course, Deadpool Duck. This cost me 900 Canadian dollars, which translates to $652.43 US dollars. So $652.43. I honestly thought this was going to be closer to 800. Looking at Bricklink now, it is around that price. I just think I got a really good deal for this, so that's initially why I even got these in the first place, is because I wanted Deadpool Duck. I really wanted all the duck-themed Lego stuff. I need to get my hands on the wooden duck. One of these days, I'll find someone selling it, so let me know in the comments if you're selling the original wooden duck, but this is another step closer to getting all the duck-themed stuff because, of course, duck bricks. Now, moving on for Adam, I actually bought these overseas from a seller in the Netherlands. This cost me 400 euros, which at the time of this recording translates to around 391 US dollars. I believe at the time I ordered it, it was almost at a 1-to-1 parity between the euro and US dollar, so it was probably around 400 US dollars, which I think is pretty fair for this exclusive. This was the 2016 Comic-Con exclusive, or at least one of the 2016 ones, and the Deadpool Duck was 2017. Finally, Vixen was another 2017 exclusive for DC, and this was the cheapest one. This only cost me 250 euros, which is around 244 US dollars, but again, at the time I bought it, probably around $250. So this was the cheapest, probably because Vixen is not the most popular of characters. I did want to get all the Legends of Tomorrow and Arrowverse characters. Now I am only missing out on Black Lightning, Supergirl, which is going to be really hard to get because there was a whole lot of craziness going on with the DC fandom stuff with that in COVID in 2020, and of course the other DC character Black Lightning, which is also from the Arrowverse, so I have a few more to go. Those are going to be harder to obtain, but we will see. But finally, I want to say that I am not really a fan of just displaying things in their packaging. I believe that Lego and minifigures should be taken out of packaging to play with. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to open these up and remove them all from their packaging, and I probably will just display them removed. I have my own minifig walls, so I don't really need the packaging. I really only got the packaging just to guarantee that they were not fakes. I usually am pretty good at spotting fakes, but to be honest, it's been a little bit harder in recent days because people have just gotten really, really good at replicating Lego's original printing quality, so I basically just got these to ensure that they were the real deal and the original things. I will obviously keep the packaging. I'm not going to throw these out. I'm not that crazy. I will keep them somewhere in my own little secret storage areas, but for the most part, I just want to kind of have the minifigures out to play with. Again, this is for my own personal collection and for my own personal joy. I am not going to resell these probably ever, so that's... it's interesting. Oh, that's pretty cool. This folds open. I didn't even know it did that. I don't think any of the other ones do that, but that's pretty cool. I'm curious if the other 2014 ones do that, but yeah. Again, I do not collect things for the packaging. I collect things because I believe things should be played with and enjoyed for what they are. So that's what I am doing with these figures here. So first of all, I'm going to start with the ones that are from the Arrowverse here. Starting off with one of the earlier characters, chronologically speaking. I'm going to remove his bow so we can see the figure in better detail. This is Red Arrow Arsenal. The main thing that I want to actually notice here, I guess this is my first time taking them out of the packaging, the legs are really loose, probably because these figures were produced at the Chinese factory at the time, or maybe the Mexican factory. The same factory that makes collectible minifigures, where back in the day, especially around the 2014 era, the legs and limbs were a little bit looser than what you would expect from other LEGO figures. Now, removing the parts here, we have a nice little cowl there for an angry expression, and an even angrier one on the back, which I guess makes sense. Good printing overall, nothing super crazy going on here, but yeah, you can see the original LEGO printing here. This is all, of course, the OG figure, but yeah, you can see him right here. This is Red Arrow, so very, very cool to get Arsenal in minifig form, and I definitely want that Stephen Amell Green Arrow figure now, because that's something I've had on my wish list for quite a while. But it's just so cool to have these. I remember back in the day I made custom versions where I actually printed out the prints and tried to attach them onto LEGO torsos, so it's so cool to finally have the real deal here. And while the CW Arrowverse has kind of fallen off and basically is dying, I believe, Flash is kind of ending now, and all the other shows have been pretty much cancelled, Superman and Lois is doing its own thing in its own universe, this is a good reminder of good times shared with the Arrowverse. And speaking of, we have the Atom here. This is probably one of the figures that, just from a minifigure standpoint, was one of the ones I was the most excited for getting, because frankly this is just a really cool figure. I love that he comes with an accessory for Palmer Tech, kind of a circuit board here, which you can see is printed on this tile. Makes a good display stand for him, but I'll probably just have him be holding the tile itself when I have him on display, kind of like this on my minifig wall. But setting that aside, we can see the actual minifig itself, where you have printing for a happy face on the front here, angry face on the other side. This is just using the LEGO collectible minifigure kind of ice skater helmet here, so that is nice. I think the happy face makes a lot more sense for Ray Palmer here. Cool to get actual Legends of Tomorrow minifigs. Imagine if LEGO actually made Flash or Arrow or Arrowverse sets back during its peak. I feel like those would have been really successful. Don't know why they never did that, but you can see here some great printing on the back and front, and yeah, this is again the original LEGO stuff right here. Just super cool. I love this minifigure. The graphic design is fantastic, and it's so cool to finally have the Atom in minifig form. Although I do feel like I probably would have appreciated this figure and the other Arrowverse figures a lot more back when I was still watching the Arrowverse and keeping up with everything, because now it just feels very nostalgic to me, but I feel like I would have really appreciated it back in the day. Finally here for Legends of Tomorrow, we have Vixen. Now, the facial expression doesn't necessarily look like the actress too much. I don't know, doesn't quite feel like it to me, but it does feel like a comics Vixen, and obviously the outfit is the Legends of Tomorrow version. There are very minute differences in both of the head prints here, but obviously this is a fully exclusive head. Taking off the hairpiece, you can see some pretty simplistic printing for the back of the torso there and the front as well. Nothing super crazy going on, but again, cool to kind of get another figure for the Legends of Tomorrow roster here. It would have been really cool if they maybe came with an accessory like a transparent blue animal, but of course you can always steal a Harry Potter Patronus and use that as her animal spirits. Now onto the final DC figure. This was again the rarest of them all, Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. I must admit I am not a comics connoisseur. I do not really know of the significance behind this plotline. I will have to do some googling and researching on my own, which I think is a cool thing about these figures. They really do inspire you to look stuff up and see what was the deal with this, what was the deal with the comics version of this. But interestingly enough, he has two different expressions, a very angry one and a very happy one. And I totally could be wrong on this, but if I recall correctly, this was supposed to signify two different comic eras or versions of the character. One where he has a lot of stubble, he has a very tattered headband, and is very angry. And one where his headband is fully intact, he doesn't have any stubble, and he's perfectly happy. I think that's pretty interesting to have as two different versions of one minifigure. Now removing the cape itself here and the accessory, we can actually see the printing on the back there. This is very similar to a standard Batman torso, just in different colors, which I guess is what makes this super rare. Again, very cool to have Comic-Con figures in my hand, and I will have to start making space on my wall of minifigs for other Comic-Con stuff, because this is just super, super cool to have. Let's take a look at what he looks like with the cowl on the happy side, so let's get the purple Batman cowl on there. There is the happy version, although I think that the angry version with the stubble is a little bit more unique for this figure because it's pretty rare to see that much stubble visible around a Batman character. So what I'm going to do is just flip this around and use this side of the head for display. And there we go, this is the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, so very interesting figure. Finally, we have the figure that convinced me to get this. This is the Deadpool duck figure, and to be completely honest, this is probably one of the least interesting characters design-wise compared to the rest, because as you can see, the torso is unique, but the torso is also very similar to the original Deadpool torso. It is super, super close. Obviously, there are a lot of differences, but for all intents and purposes, you could really just pretend this is just a standard Deadpool torso. The short legs in red are just standard. They weren't really dual molding these at the time, or I guess they were, but they chose not to do it for this figure. The only special thing here is a recolor of the LEGO Disney Donald Duck head mold in a Deadpool print. And that's pretty rare to see a licensed piece like this that is very clearly representing a Disney character. I mean, this is super clearly a Donald Duck mold, but instead it's being used for Deadpool Duck. And I don't know how LEGO was able to get the license approval to use a very Disney license specific piece for Deadpool, although I guess Disney does own Marvel, so maybe that was not as big of a problem as I'm expecting. It's just really cool to see this very, very unique headpiece being used on a very distinct character, and I certainly am very happy that I now own an official Deadpool Duck LEGO minifigure, which is very, very cool to get. And with that, we have summed up our look at all of these Comic-Con figures. Let's stand them all up here so we can kind of get a good shot of all of them. I'm gonna get that thumbnail shot right here. And overall, just so cool to finally own my first ever LEGO Comic-Con exclusive figures. Hopefully the first of many. I will be making incremental videos as I continue to buy more of these. I probably will be getting more and more over the coming months, so do stay tuned for that, and let me know if you want to see more in-depth looks at these figures like this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and these will now be added to my wall, and I will be putting the packaging in storage because, again, I believe that LEGO minifigures should be played with and displayed and not kept in their original packaging. And you may disagree, but that is personally just how I like to display things, and that is how it is. So these are my Comic-Con figures. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It has been a real pleasure being able to bring you very exclusive looks at these specialized Comic-Con stuff. And yeah, these are my first Comic-Con figures. I do own the Comic-Con and Toy Fair exclusive Bionicle masks, which originally were a lot cheaper, and now they're a lot more expensive, but that's a different story. These are the first figures, and I'm so happy to have been able to share them with all of you. And once again, thank you all so much for your viewership, which has allowed me to be able to actually purchase these relatively guilt-free. So thank you so much. I can't wait to bring you more LEGO videos like this.
And with that, we have summed up our look at the 5 special Comic-Con figures that I've managed to get. Of course, we have Deadpool Duck, we have Ray Palmer, aka The Atom, we have Red Arrow, aka Arsenal, aka Roy Palmer, we have Vixen right here, and we have Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. These are the 5 special Comic-Con figures, which I am so excited to add to my minifigure walls now. I'm going to need to reshuffle all of my special minifigures because there are so many more slots to add and to open up now that I am going to be collecting the Comic-Con figures. As you can see here, I basically have wall displays for all the DC stuff and the Marvel stuff, but they really were only set out to display all the figures from the retail sets. The inclusion of these changes things, and I will probably be taking these down and just reshuffling everything and rearranging stuff to actually add slots for all the Comic-Con figures, because I feel like it'd be strange to actually display these separated from the rest and maybe their own packaging. It makes sense that if, say, there's a variant of Batman, to display him with the rest of the Batman-related characters. And the same goes for the Marvel stuff. Like if I ever get the very expensive New York Toy Fair Iron Man figure, I definitely want to display him at the top of my Iron Man collection right up there with the rest of the Marvel minifigures all in order. So I think that makes the most sense to me to display them all together. That way you can kind of do a hide and seek or try to find the rarest figures in these massive collections from all the ones that are featured in the individual sets themselves, right down to the specific ones for the Comic-Con exclusives. There's a ton of more stuff that we can get here, and I'm so excited because this is just the start of my Comic-Con figure collecting journey. And so I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below, which Comic-Con minifigures do you own, if you own any? Which are your favorites? Are there any that you're really wanting to own yourselves or have been on a hunt for a while? And have you managed to ever go to Comic-Con yourselves and actually get the minifigures straight from the source? Which I hope to do one day if LEGO continues to do exclusives. They seem to have stopped doing exclusives in recent years, but maybe that was just because of COVID. We will see if things will resume as normal. We'll see, I don't know. Maybe one day I will be able to go to Comic-Con myself, but for now, I am stuck obtaining these from Bricklink. So that about sums up this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thanks, and bye for now.